So this first video is for Canadians who are thinking about coming to teach in China, but who may have reservations for one reason or another. The first point I want to get across is that China is safe. It is not a scary place. No matter what you may think or what you may have been told, it is not dangerous here at all. I have traveled to over 20 countries in my life, and I have never felt safer than I do in China. Is it going to be hard? Yeah. Your first 2 months are probably going to be very hard. People here think differently. Their culture is different. Their banking system is different. Their logical thinking is different. The way they do things is different. Everything is different. You're going to need to learn everything from scratch. But it's worthwhile, and it's not scary. It's just hard at first. I have no reservations whatsoever going down a dark alley in the middle of the night. I know nothing will happen to me. That is, of course, information specific to the city where I am, which is Xi'an. Which brings me to my second point. If you do decide to come to China, go for a second-tier city, or what they call here a second-tier city, a smaller city. Beijing, Shanghai, places like this are huge, and your money won't get you very far. I live in Xi'an. Not a lot of people know Xi'an. It's known mostly for the terracotta warrior army. And one of the reasons I like Xi'an is because it's quieter, for one thing, and your money does get you a lot further. I'll give you an example. My 60 square meter apartment in Xi'an costs me approximately the same price as I would pay to share an apartment with 4 people in Shanghai. The cost of living is also lower. Food costs, transportation costs, everything costs less in a second-tier city. To give you a good example, or a concrete example, I've been here for 6 months. I do not deprive myself of anything. I eat well. I've traveled to Thailand. I still have an apartment in Canada, which I still pay for, that I kept in case something goes wrong here. Nothing has. And despite all of that, I still managed to put 10,000 Canadian dollars aside in 6 months. So it's something to consider. Xi'an is not particularly beautiful. A lot of it has been built very recently. To give you an example, the neighborhood where I live did not exist 10 years ago. It's pretty blah, it's pretty boring, but that's by day. At night, everything lights up. It's incredible. It's almost like Disneyland. You'd hardly believe it. And even in a very modern neighborhood like this, you do find some smaller enclaves that they call villages here, where everything is much lower. The buildings are never much higher than 3 or 4 stories high, little narrow streets, and this is where you'll find all the markets, the day markets and the night markets, where people sell their wares and their goods, where you can find food, ambulant restaurants, and butchers and bakers and everything you need. That's where I shop. It's a lot better than the grocery store. It's really incredible that you can still find these in a very modern city like Xi'an. If you go downtown, it's a more historic and more beautiful. It's a very interesting city. It's fascinating. You can find anything you need here, except for a very quiet place, maybe. Conclusion? Don't be afraid of China. It's really not a scary place. The only problem you may have is your own limitations when it comes to adapting to a new culture. And if you do come to Xi'an. I'll make more videos about it. You'll see, it's an interesting place.